Okay, so now it's time for me to go back to the regularly scheduled programming that quite usually people expect from this channel most of the time, or sometimes. Actually, I'm not even sure what y'all expect, but you're still here. So thank you. To my subscribers, that is. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You're insane. You're crazy, just like me. I enjoy it. And I love seeing y'all in the Discord and in the comment sections. You're nuts. But I love it. Anyway, so this is a request from Discord, and it's back to the regularly scheduled stuff that we usually do. So no more, for the moment, no more of me pursuing something else. I'll say that much. So that being said and out of the way, I'm not going to tell you to do anything. We have some more SCP stuff that we were getting into a while ago. I stopped and it became intermittent, kind of, sort of, because I was doing a bunch of other things at the same time. So, yeah. Y'all ready for this SCP thing? It's pretty long, so warning ahead of time. It's a pretty long video. So if you choose not to watch, that's perfectly fine. It's super long. Like, it's an hour and a half. And I'm probably going to add like 20 plus minutes on top of that of me saying my thoughts on everything. So if you are still here at the end of it all, thank you. I love you. You're awesome. And if you're not, also cool too. I'll see you in another one that's shorter. Okay. So this is Exploring the SCP Foundation. SCP 7004. Insane Wailing Feral. Just the kind of insanity that people can dream up in their imagination is just something else. Seriously, like the SCP wiki, like I tried to dive into it for like a day, and I was just going down a consistent rabbit hole of madness. Cosmic horror just hits different. Anyway, y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it.
SCP 7004. Insane Wailing Feral. We've seen plenty of examples so far of various individuals, primarily within the Foundation, going above and beyond the call of duty to try and uphold the Foundation's goals. Agents risking life and limb, researchers delving into extremely dangerous experimentations, and D-Class that do far more than anyone expects of them.
Should I speed it up? Let me see if I should speed it up.
SCP 7004 finds
I don't know if that's too fast. Let's listen.
two agents tasked with a nearly impossible mission in the midst of a horrible apocalypse. But it's times like that where the Foundation really shows its worth to humanity. Anyone can stand outside of a wild animal's cage and watch it, but it's a different story when the animal is loose. Let's take a look. We're first given a warning that SCP-7004 is a Class 10 realization-type memetic infohazard, meaning that learning any information about it can cause exposure to its effects. To reduce the infectiousness of the document, then, it's been automatically modified by Foundation AIs, and we are to proceed at our own discretion. We're then given the proper documentation for 7004, informing us that its object class is a polyon, so it's practically impossible to contain. And we're provided an eerie photo of some sort of humanoid creature with multiple heads and arms. The caption informs us that this is an instance of 7004-1 shortly following a Blossom event, with two petal instances seen emerging from it. The containment procedures go further to express how dangerous information related to 7004 is, and how pretty much the entire Foundation is on deck to handle the situation, although only AIs are allowed to handle information suppression due to too many incidents involving humans. Further updates to the containment procedures mention how all 7004-1 instances are to be terminated on site, with priority given to those found exclaiming words like native or natives. Additionally, the maintenance of the Veil of Secrecy is relegated to the lowest priority level, so things are looking pretty bad for the world. The description states that SCP-7004 is a Class 10 realization-type memetic infohazard, meaning that it doesn't rely on definitive knowledge of a word or phrase in order to trigger, but rather the very act of coming to understand or realize the phrase that makes up 7004 causes its effects to trigger. This just means that it's even easier to spread than a normal info hazard, which is reflected in the number of currently affected people worldwide, which was originally stated to be 3,000, then 9 million, then 156 million, and now 1 billion. When a subject comprehends 7004, they are immediately subject to a blossom event, which causes a number of effects. First, there's an immediate tearing pain in the abdomen, followed by the violent rupturing of the torso from inside forces. Then, the rapid emergence of 2 to 27 separate individuals from this rupture, ranging from children as young as 3 to 100-year-old adults, which immediately causes the death of the individual and the creation of a 7004-1 instance. The emerged individuals, known as pedal instances, will begin to scream loudly, often in multiple different languages, speaking phrases that contain the info hazard, which causes further spread.
This sounds like a horror show. Oh, man, just imagine that. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Kill it with fire. Kill it with fire and wear headphones that block all sound. Bub. Or just plug your ears. Or tear your ears off. Well, actually, tearing your ears off wouldn't actually work. You'd have to plug them. Anyway. So, you hear or think about this thing. You come to the realization of it. And then something tears its way out of you. And not in a nice way. And starts screaming. Imagine that. You're just there brushing your teeth like, and then you're like, oh, and then suddenly a thing pops out and it's like, and you're like, ah, never mind. That was kind of funny. But damn, son, damn. The human imagination is the most incredibly terrifying thing in existence. Change my mind.
This document, as mentioned, has been edited to remove all of the dangerous infohazard vectors, so we don't get a complete picture. Common phrases said by pedal instances include, "Where are vector removed?" and "We are vector removed." After activation, they have been observed to demonstrate certain functions, although these have also been removed from the document. They have also been observed constructing buildings in a haphazard manner through an unknown anomalous means, though a certain minority have also been seen doing other redacted activities. While that's all very good and mysterious, we'll learn more about what they're doing as we continue on. SCP-7004 was first discovered on July 15, 2021, following several early reports of people with multiple bodies at different locations across the globe, including Utah, China, Japan, and India. Foundation web crawlers initially classified these reports as to be investigated, and a third priority subject of interest. On the following day, multiple reports began to surface of additional people bursting apart on the wider internet, with several videos featuring multiple 7004-1 entities being uploaded to various social media platforms.
No wonder why it spread so quickly. No wonder why it spread so fast. Could you imagine if this was real? Oh, God. Social media would immediately wipe out, like, I would say like 70% of humans, like, immediately. Because what is everybody ever doing anymore at all, right? Wait, where's my phone? Right? If it was real, 70% of the planet would be dead almost immediately. Well, 70% of humanity. I think the rest of nature would be perfectly fine. Bub, could you imagine that? That'd be insanity. And it would still have the potential to keep spreading beyond that, right? Because then you only have to be nearby in order to hear it. right? Or be in vicinity of it, or come to the realization of it. And it's like, no, thank you. I'm so happy this isn't reality.
As these videos contained pedal vocalizations, they provided potent 7004 vectors, causing additional Blossom events that would subsequently add to the spread. Shortly after a direct correlation was drawn between the viewing of these videos and the occurrence of Blossom events, the Global Occult Coalition began efforts to take down the videos, which in turn fueled speculation regarding the phenomenon on online forums such as Parawatch. These speculations themselves then provided vectors for 7004, allowing individuals access to info which would then lead them to come to conclusions which would expose them to 7004's effects. We can see here how easily this stuff can spread, and by the 17th of July, only 2 days after the initial reports, approximately 156 million individuals had been transformed into 7004-1 instances. This is when the Foundation jumped in, a little late to the party, opening up channels with the GOC to help contain the spread. Several hours after official cooperation began, a general media blackout of official news outlets was implemented. Unfortunately, it continued to spread across the internet, exposing approximately 600 million more individuals. Containment of 7004 became an alpha priority objective, with information blackouts being the primary mode of containment for both the Foundation and the GOC. The leadership of both organizations directed their efforts to the temporary restriction of the internet in several countries, which only served to fuel more speculation about 7004, which subsequently caused millions of Blossom events in countries unaffected by the bans. The amount of affected individuals reached 1 billion on July 20th, only 5 days after the start, and operations to halt the spread of 7004 are still ongoing. An update from the 21st shows that the number has reached 3 billion, and the GOC has forcefully enacted bans on the internet in several major countries. An update from the 22nd states that the number has now reached 6 billion, and Blossom events have started to occur among the Foundation's staff. The following day, Site-82 released a distress signal, and the document contains the text, "Help us please. If anyone can hear, please send someone," followed by some more text that has had the hazardous vectors removed. The personnel responsible for posting this text was reported for disciplinary action by the AI and banned from making any further edits to the file. On the 23rd, Site-82 was declared inoperative due to SCP-7004, followed by 6 more sites the following day, and Site-19 followed suit within a couple days. Also on the 26th, Site-01 released a distress signal, and 054 activated the Etna protocol. As such, the Council's operations have been suspended, with executive authority being delegated to regional directors and site directors until the central leadership can be re-established. We're given an auto-transcribed file from a video of the O5 Council before the protocol was activated. The video begins with all 5 attending members of the Council gathered around a table, 3 of them panting with exhaustion, while 054 is standing opposite them, shaking papers in his hand and shouting. The words SCP-2000 Ganymede Protocol are seen in bold letters at the top of one of the papers. 059 is standing beside him, shaking her head with disapproval. 054 turns to address 9, speaking sternly to her as he glances over at the other members, before raising his hand and asking if they are all in favor. All of them raise their hands except for 059, so 4 nods before turning to a terminal and typing in a command. 051 begins to stand up to speak, but is interrupted as 052 steps into the room, bleeding from his mouth and onto his suit. He staggers into the room and leans against 051, coughing up more blood onto the table. He then begins to shout with alarm before violently stumbling back, as 054 covers his ears and warns the others, to no avail. 052's abdomen then begins to rupture, with several fingers appearing at the widening wound. A bloody and panting human head is seen emerging from his abdomen, followed by an arm as it attempts to pull itself out of 052. All of the council members move back in shock as he screams in pain, and 055 begins to also cough up blood, followed by 059. 056 moves back before doubling over as she begins to vomit blood onto the floor. Panicked, 051 draws a pistol and fires several shots at 056, killing her. 051 and 4 are seen glancing at each other, before a thin trail of blood escapes from 051's lips, followed by an outpouring of blood onto the table. 051 shouts something at him as he slides his pistol across to 054, telling him to do it. 054 quickly takes the pistol from the table and fires a single shot at 051's head, killing him instantly. He then stands there, overseeing the chaos going on around him, and tries to kill another of the convulsing overseers, but the gun fails to fire. The limp corpse of 051 continues to seize, however, and the corpse of 056 does the same, with several arms already emerging from their torn abdomen. 054 immediately drops the firearm, clamping his hands to his ears once again as he runs out of the room, dodging the reaching hands of the former 052. Several other instances are glimpsed outside of the room, and a few minutes later, a remote terminal is accessed by 054, at which point the Etna protocol is activated. It turns out that 054 in this situation is Alto Clef, and he logs on to check the operational status of all MTFs specifically trained to handle info hazards, meaning MTF ETA 10, See No Evil, MTF Row 9, Technical Support, and MTF Upsilon 4, Sugar Pill. All three are listed as inactive, so Clef then brings up any MTFs trained for info hazards that have been blacklisted for whatever reason.
Brother, this would make an incredible freaking game. Actually, from what I heard, there's actually a game on Steam that's related to stuff like this. I'll have to check it out sometime. But I need to get more storage for my PC before I do that. Because I'm pretty much loaded with everything else I'm doing. So yeah. Oof. Excuse me. But yeah, like Bub, this would make an incredible game or a terrifying movie. I'm so happy this isn't reality. If this was reality, it would be. Tell me I'm wrong, but this would wipe out all of humanity today. All of us. We'd be gone. In an instant, almost, it seems. Just crazy. Like, and this came out of someone's imagination. And there's literally a Wikipedia with like, I want to say it's like 100 terabytes of the SCP wiki or something like that. Or something stupendously crazy like that. And each one is crazier than the last one. They're all insane. Human imagination is like the greatest weapon there is. Or at least I think so. But what do y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments.
This query returns one result. MTF Mu-7, Our Twisted Minds, which are listed as currently active. We're then given a dossier on Mu-7. Mu-7 is a specialized experimental task force composed of regular Foundation personnel given extreme resistance to infohazardous phenomena via the application of the Sarkic practice of brain twisting. When compared to other MTFs, brain twisting allows the user to unconsciously resist info hazards with nearly 99% efficiency, allowing continued operation without the use of specialized equipment. Mu-7 was first created during a specialized training program in 2011, following the defection of Karcist Alco to Foundation authorities the year before. Alco demonstrated knowledge of several previously unknown Sarkic techniques, with brain twisting being among them. As part of an internal push to incorporate more anomalous techniques into Foundation doctrine, Alco was mandated to teach the practice of brain twisting to two specially chosen Foundation operatives, former MTF ETA 10 squad leader Lena Navarra and former squad member Cassandra Mullins. This led to the creation of Mu-7 a year later. Following the December 2014 incident at Site-43, however, Karcist Alco escaped Foundation custody with several Sarkic anomalies, causing a major containment breach and killing 125 Foundation personnel. Following an internal risk review led by the O5 Council, several experimental task forces, including Mu-7, were relegated to auxiliary functions and blacklisted from participating in wider Foundation operations.
Sarkic. I wonder how you spell that. Sarkic. How do you spell that? Let me see. It'd be something pretty interesting. Okay, so Sarkic, maybe it's with a K. Let me shmee. Sarkic. Okay, that didn't yield any results. Sarkic. Maybe that will tell me something. Gnosticism describes the lowest level of human nature, the fleshly, instinctive level. Sarkic is said to be the lowest level of thought. Okay, so it's almost as if you're not thinking at all. Huh. Okay. That would make sense. Learn something new every day.
As of now, Mu 7 is currently stationed at the remote containment site 11,000 within a national park reserve in the Yukon in Canada. That doesn't really explain at all what brain twisting involves, but it does explain why they were blacklisted, as it's a little hard to trust the techniques from a double-crossing Sarkite. This may be their time to shine, however, and Clef proceeds to unlock all the clearance requirements for the 7004 document, sending it over to the MTF along with a message. Clef tells them that he is the last O5 still left alive to his knowledge, and presumably they have no idea what's going on right now, and if they do, then there goes their last hope to stop this thing. If they don't, however, they deserve an explanation. He explains that the world has ended due to a memetic info hazard, SCP-7004, and right now they are the only two people left on Earth that can make sure they can come back from this. His last express request is for them to go to Yellowstone, find SCP-2000, and input the numbers 12, 25, 2000 into it. This should reset the world and save what's left of it. This document will tell them everything they need to know about 7004, everything they need to prepare, for all that it's worth. Before the rest of the council went dark, they did everything they'd need to make sure SCP-2000 comes online once they get there, and they've been given a promotion to level 5, effective immediately. They should also record everything they see, as he wants to stay updated 24/7, although his message gets interrupted as he says that they're here and he needs to go. He wishes them good luck and Godspeed, as they'll need it. Alright then, we have our scenario.
So, the SCP-2000 something can reset the world? SCP-2000? The heck is that? Here, let me look this up real fast. Let me look at this real quick. SCP-2000. Deus Ex Machina. Okay, it's Talmail class. What does it do? What does it do? Wait, there's multiple SCP-2000s? What? Okay, one of them just says Deus Ex Machina, which basically means like, Deus Ex Machina. That's basically what it is. Kind of like how in some movies there's like the plot device that allows you to like make everything better or whatever. Like, I'm trying to simplify this so hard. Okay, Deus Ex Machina. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna let me do the dumbs to you. So I'm gonna look it up instead. Deus Ex Machina. Okay. So, an unexpected, artificial, or improbable character, device, or event introduced suddenly in a work of fiction or drama to resolve a situation or entangle a plot. A person or event that provides a sudden and unexpected solution to a difficulty. In Greek and Roman drama, a god lowered by stage machinery to resolve a plot or extricate the protagonist from a difficult situation. Basically, a get out of jail free card. I think that's a better way of summing it up. That might work. Let me know how I'm doing so far with that one. Let's keep going.
2 MTF agents that have been locked away from the world due to their unique abnormality are now the world's best hope due to that same abnormality. They just have to head from their site in the Yukon in Canada down to Yellowstone in Wyoming, amidst a global apocalypse of mutated humans with the barest minimum of support from anyone else. The remainder of the document therefore largely consists of the transcribed log of their video footage.
You would think that they would have prepared like aircraft for this, like a plane, you know, a little Cessna Skylark. And there's probably a landing strip somewhere in Yellowstone where you could land, right? And then you fly there. I'm pretty sure a Cessna could make that trip with one refueling, I think. I could be wrong about that, actually. It's been a while since I've been in one. Speaking of which, pretty soon here I'm going to get my pilot's license so that I can fly aircraft. Maybe I'll be like a frog jumper or a puddle jumper pilot. You know, like just taking people from one place to another place that's a shorter distance away than a commercial flight would be worth it. Probably do something like that. Although I really hate being inside of planes. I like jumping out of them, but I really hate being inside of planes. But I'll just get over it like I do everything else. All right, a Cessna Skylark. All right, what's the range of the sucker? I forgot how old they are, though. They were made in like the 60s or 50s. Let me see. All right, what's the range? Design is that, and that, and that. Specifications, airfoil, takeoff weight, fuel capacity. So about 720 miles. Okay, yeah, it can make that trip in one refueling, I think. So yeah, I didn't know that the Cessna Skylark was that old. Bub. Anyway, let's keep going. But yeah, you would think they would have like a landing strip at the Yukon facility where they would have like, you know, a plane all filled up and ready to go and maintained, and then they just take off in that sucker and fly to Yellowstone, land in Yellowstone. Or, you know, ditch out of the plane, you know, go airborne, right? Something. But I guess that's, or at least we'll see. We'll see. But I don't think that's how it's going to go down. They're probably going to have to go in on foot.
Starting with the 2 at their containment site. Lena is seen standing in front of a desk, using a terminal to access the internal SCP database. Cassandra is operating the camera, and we can see that the system is automatically transcribing the video into the document in real time. Lena sighs with relief and turns to face the camera, showing her to be 35 years of age, with short black hair and an exhausted expression on her face. She says to the camera that, for whoever is watching, they are MTF Mu-7, currently broadcasting from containment site 11,000 in the middle of nowhere, just where the Foundation wants them to be. She then nods to Cassandra, who places the camera down and moves into view. Cassandra is 24 years of age, with long red hair, and bears an excitable expression as she salutes and states that she's reporting for duty. Lena shrugs and half-heartedly salutes as well, although not directly at the camera, quickly lowering her hand. She says that she's not sure if 054 can hear them, but with all due respect, this order is unorthodox. This doesn't look like an official command for transfer, and they have no assurance of whether it's a real command or not. They don't get much reception out here, and if they did, they apparently wouldn't have been considered for this assignment. She looks at the camera, seemingly waiting for an answer, clearly skeptical, while Cassandra glances between the camera and Lena, showing her nervousness. She then begins to talk to the camera, but Lena tells her to save it, as they won't get an answer. Lena then goes and gets a Molly pack, containing provisions and supplies, asking Cassandra if she has her Molly ready. Cassandra is unsure if they're actually going to go through with the mission, but she's packed her bag. Lena tells her that she's not sure if it actually is 054 behind all of this, or if it's some kind of trick, but she has friends and family out there. Even if it isn't an official order, she wants to know if this is real, and if this really is their only chance at saving everyone. She tells Cassandra to put the site on conditional lockdown, putting on her winter clothes. She's going to go out to the Foundation way station to try and establish contact with the outside world, while Cassandra stays here. Cassandra is surprised but follows orders, and they turn off the camera for now.
Bad idea to split up. It's always a bad idea to split up. I mean, look, and people will be like, well, higher chances of survival if you're not together, right? Well, I mean, maybe. Possibly. Except, actually, your chances of survival are cut in half. You have a much better chance together. And on top of that, is it better to die alone or have somebody there when you die? That's something else to consider. I know many often of the times, I say, look, people, bought what they paid for, or they paid for what they bought, right? When it comes to a lot of things like that, but it's like, look, that's something to take into consideration. Seriously. But yeah, which would you prefer? Let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, splitting up, yeah, that's not a good idea.
Later that night, the camera feed picks back up inside of their shared bedroom, as Lena says that 054 didn't lie to them after all. The world has gone to hell, and they didn't even know. She holds back some tears and says that her head hurts now more than anything she's ever experienced, which is stopping her from remembering anything about what she just heard from the outside world. She's visibly shaking from the pain, but tries to compose herself and says that they're leaving now, as 054 ordered, putting the facility on permanent lockdown. She didn't want to believe him at first, as the 7004 file claims that the world went to hell in 2 weeks, and there was no way the Foundation could have lost that fast. She shrugs and shakes her head, saying that deep down inside of her, she just didn't want the responsibility and the obligation. The Foundation put them here in the middle of nowhere, shut them up where they didn't belong, when they could have been so much more useful somewhere else, just because they decided to train them in something that they didn't like.
Bub. Facts. Absolute facts. Gosh, I like the story, though. The story is freaking awesome. I really like this story. But we're going to pause it here for now. We will do this in sections because this video is already too long for people to watch. And yeah. So, yeah. Very interesting. This SCP is like nightmare fuel. If somebody's able to come up with like a very good, sharp visualization of it, it is terrifying. I would kill it with fire, honestly. I would pour wax into my ears, hot wax. Or actually, no. I would get I forget what those freaking plugs are called, but there's a special type of plugs I've used before. You could hear your heartbeat. That's how good they are. But yeah, and you can like hear yourself like breathing if you like contort and stuff. Like you can hear it. It's really crazy. Anyway, but yeah, kill it with fire. But what did y'all think? What do y'all think so far? I like this story. We're gonna come back to it, but this video is already too long, and watchability or people's ability to pay attention and watch anything for an extended period of time is getting much lower. So yeah. That being said, if you're still here, thank you. I love you. You're awesome. Stay that way. I will see y'all in the next one. We will continue this one. We'll break it up into like 4 pieces. So be good, be safe, make good life for yourselves, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Last Cat Badger out.